So the scrimmage reports got you blue, making you feel a little nervous about this season? Yeah, you probably shouldn't though. I'm going to go ahead and put you at ease. I got a story to tell you that's going to definitely resonate with you all on why these practice reports should actually get you excited. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. All right. As y'all know, practice reports have been coming down the line. There's been a lot of information overload, but there's one thing that's been consistent, and it's everybody's concern, a quarterback. Yes. Jackson Arnold has struggled a little bit in some of the practices. I've heard that he's compiled some good days. Heard he's compiled some bad days. And after Arizona, I know a lot of fans are worried about what Oklahoma's going to look like when it comes to the quarterback play. I have a story to tell you, so stick around for that. But let me open up with this. This is why you feel this way. I'm going to tell you why you're feeling as concerned as you are. Okay, you ready? It's been roughly 10 years since you've seen Oklahoma with a real defense. I know. It's a wild thing to think. It's a wild concept. But that's what it is. This is what you're missing. It's been a good 10 years since you've seen Oklahoma with a really good defense. And so for you as fan, not saying everybody, but the ones that are concerned, but you as fan, this is what you're thinking. If Oklahoma's offense can't move on this defense, we're going to be awful this coming season. But that's not how this is going to work. This is not even the case or even remotely close. And I'm telling you this to put you at ease for you to truly understand that this is what things are going to look like for Oklahoma going forward. The expectation is the defense is to do it. So let's dive into this. So let me tell you a little bit of a story that should help you all with the mind frame and thoughts about what Oklahoma's going to look like this coming season. So last season, as you can see the footage here next to me, we played a team called the Tulsa Golden Hurricanes. And when we played and traveled to Tulsa to play them, first time in a while, there were some interviews that happened before that game to talk about the current head coach there, Kevin Wilson. Now, you may know Kevin Wilson. Kevin Wilson was a coach here at Oklahoma. Right, yeah, he was an offensive coordinator. And his tenure with Oklahoma was from 2002 all the way to 2010. Co-offensive coordinator to offensive coordinator. And he left and went and took a job at Indiana as the head coach. This is how he got a head coaching job. It was through Oklahoma, coaching here with the Sooners. And so when Oklahoma went there to Tulsa and they played against Tulsa, the one thing that was recognized and jumped out in the conversation was, oh yeah, you used to work with Brent Venables. We've got to get stories about how things went down between you two. So when they had the conversation with Kevin Wilson as well as Brent Venables, they talked about how competitive things were and how they used to go back and forth and how much fun, the good old days, right? Well, there was also some interviews with players, and On3 did a fantastic article to discuss this. Some players talked about how practices used to go between the two. And this is where you need to listen to your boy. And this is where I will hopefully ease your mind and what you're missing, what's going down. When they were talking about the interviews with these players, and they were talking about the practices and what it was like for Oklahoma, they talked about specifically how Brent Venables and his defense would basically call out the offensive plays, and they would just terrorize them nonstop. Like they were all over the place. To the point of they had to physically move the football at different points on the field because the offense could not move the ball 20 yards. Yes, could not move the ball 20 yards. That's pretty crazy, right? Well, when he did that, this was back when Wilson was running his 08 up-tempo offense. As y'all know, that up-tempo offense was one of the greatest offenses in college football history at that time, right? They actually had the record for most points in a season. And the guy that was slinging the ball for them was a little unknown dude by the name of Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford that year did win the Heisman Trophy, threw for 4,700 yards and 50 touchdowns. He threw a 50-burger that season. Basically, in Kevin Wilson's system, they were dominant unless they were going against Brent Venables and his defense. And it's because they know each other. It's something that, you know what players are called. You understand tendencies and habits. That's what you're supposed to do to get better as a defensive player. You're supposed to be able to understand the tendencies and habits of your opponents. And if you catch those, you're able to have a competitive advantage. So for Oklahoma right now, in the practices, Jackson Arnold's going to be struggling because these dudes have seen him for a year. No, not just since the spring. He's been running the second team for a year. So they know Jackson Arnold. They understand Jackson Arnold. They have an idea of Jackson Arnold. And they're still running a system similar to Levy to keep things, uniform and easy, while Latrell's going to be able to pace things in ways of going up tempo or running in pace and going slow. He can do that. That's the thing that a lot of fans don't catch when it comes to this conversation about Jackson Arnold's struggle. Because in those days of Bob Stoops being the head coach as a defensive-minded coach, the defense was expected to win every time. But the good thing is that if your quarterback is being forged in fire with a top three defense, potentially, a top three defense in conference, potentially, with one of the most experienced defenses in the country, 86% of your production returning, number 3 in the country in returning production. Phil Steele labels your linebackers and your secondary the best units in your conference and number 2 nationally. Jackson Arnold is expected to struggle because guess what? He's got a defensive-minded head coach who expects the defense to win every single practice. Now, granted, you've seen plays, big plays where Jackson Arnold's been able to break out, go deep to a Deion Burks, hit up, a Nick Anderson, when he was ever out there, right? He's been able to get to these people. Brendan Thompson caught some deep passes. You're going to see that. But the other thing to understand is, and this is why I'm trying to ease the minds of my people, because I'm seeing it all over the interwebs. Take a breath. Go touch grass. Understand your head coach is a defensive-minded guy. And if our defense isn't dominant every single day, here's the problem. That doesn't mean your offensive line sucks. That doesn't mean that your quarterback sucks. That doesn't mean your running backs suck. Doesn't mean any of that, actually. What it means is that in practice, and you can go see Damian Mackey. He's even talked about it over there on the Barry Mackey show about how practices are actually structured. But the thing that I do know and understand is, in the era of Brent Venables versus Kevin Wilson, Sam Bradford couldn't move the ball. And y'all loved him. Still do. Dude was great. Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 pick. That was the expectation. So, I want y'all to breathe, take a breath, take a step back, understand that we Gucci, we good. This is what you want. You want a defense that is this dominant. And it's all because y'all not used to it. I know. I was part of the 2000, I was riding that Bob Stoops era. I got it. So for you all, understanding that the defense is what should carry us this year, so Jackson Arnold can come along at the speed that he needs to come along. No more. This is not going to be the era where we're used to having a quarterback go out and save us. Baker's not going to have to save us. Kyler's not going to have to save us. Caleb Williams is not going to have to save us. Right? This is an era where the defense is going to save us. Defense is going to do everything. So y'all should be excited about that. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in the comments. Let your boy know your thoughts. How y'all feeling about when I tell you this? Did I ease your concerns? I'm really hoping that I calmed some of those nerves and made you feel a little bit better. Because I promise you, the practice reports and the propaganda that's going to come out is still going to be a little bit better as we go down. But the good thing is that you're going to see scenarios and plays where you can be like, okay, they're making throws that you need to have. If you've made it this far, you like the content, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. I would love for y'all to join this family of Sooner fans, talking OU football, SEC college football in general, having a blast doing it. All right, we'll have more videos. We'll talk AP poll later tonight, and we'll go live on Wednesday, make up for Sunday. I wanted to take the day off. I was hanging out with family, and it was what's needed. So, oh yeah, if you like this shirt, it's in the link in the description below. I actually have it, also teetering in this video because there's only one Oklahoma, baby. And we're going to have a fantastic season. I guarantee it. We'll talk soon. Peace.